Well, hello there, motherfuckers, and welcome to your Smackdown review. So, a big superstar shakeup on Raw. Uneventful as always. We talked about, I got in the comments on my Raw review, we talked about the Jinder situation. You had an opportunity there to, refreshing Jinder, recover from what the Smarks and the Office did to this guy, taking a big star. They even thought he was going to be a big star. Take him to India, sell all these tickets, make him the next big A-lister. They had another opportunity, take two, right, to do it on Raw. They do it again, and right away, jobbing him out, having him lose the U.S. title. I'm thinking to myself, the man is holding the U.S. title. He has this anti-American gimmick. He's supposed to be better than all the Americans. They've been doing this gimmick for years, but it works. It gets heat. They can't even do that right. The first opportunity they get, he just won this belt. He just took the belt at Mania. Not even giving it any time to settle in at all. No time to even create any heat. Just a week passes by. Remember, it's only been like a week since WrestleMania. Already losing the title to Jeff Hardy on Raw. So, already off to a bad start. The shake-up has, only hurt them, if anything. This is supposed to be something that's supposed to benefit, freshen up the product. So let's see how SmackDown did. Let's see how they did on the SmackDown side of things. So, instead of, starting the show up with some exciting announcement, we just get an AJ Styles promo. An AJ Styles promo that we probably should have gotten last week. He waits a whole week to call out Nakamurphy. Nakamurphy doesn't come out. Instead, they get Rusev. Well, that makes sense anyway, because, we just need to have a random match tonight. If they fucked up on Raw, at least, let's try to do something good on SmackDown. That's not the case. We've got them just bringing out random match, because that's all it is on SmackDown. It's just about randomizing things. It's something new, right? No, I mean, we've already seen this match, haven't we? So they come out, Aiden does this shtick. I don't know how long we're supposed to keep doing the same shtick over and over with the singing and everything. Rusev, this is only so far that they could get this guy. And the funny thing is, you got Rusev here, right? So what's coming up in a couple of weeks for Rusev? The Undertaker. Yeah, the match is back on. I don't know what the fuck happened with that. Something about Rusev calling the Undertaker an old man, and the Office didn't like it, so they took him out of the match. They put Jericho in. Now they put Rusev back in once more. I mean, they can't even make up their minds what they want to do. Just because of a little insult, he, accidentally calls him an old man, and I've read that they're scared. This is what's being reported. They're scared every single time somebody says, like, old man. It's going to offend the legends, or I don't know who they're scared it's going to offend. Some old person in the audience, like a grandfather or something. But they took him out of the match. But there's no mention of his match with The Undertaker. At least if it was mentioned, it was quickly mentioned. You've got this big event you're trying to, sell or not sell, whatever. I don't know. They're barely even making a big deal about the greatest Royal Rumble thing. They're talking about the tag titles and stuff like that. But, we're not even seeing, any build-up. This is a casket match with a big legend. A legend that usually only wrestles at WrestleMania, but he's going to be making another appearance here in the match. And, you don't even see any build-up. I'm not saying they have to show The Undertaker, but they've done build like this before. Rusev could come out, cut these. Here's the thing. You're cutting these promos, but they're on Twitter. If it's happening on Twitter, that means that they don't give a fuck about it. we saw this at Survivor Series. You know, remember, like, leading up to Survivor Series, besides those raids that they had, all they did was build it up on Twitter, right? Wasn't it The Miz and Baron Corbin? They never came face to face. The only thing these two guys did was trade words on Twitter. It's the laziest form of booking. And they're going to chalk it up to, in 2018, they're going to say, oh, well, social media is such a pivotal part of society. It makes perfect sense to have them build up a feud on Twitter. No, I'm sorry. It's pure laziness. It shows that you have no creativity at all, that you rather just relegate that shit to Twitter where you could read the feud. Oh, I'm reading a feud. I'm so entertained. I mean, God, as creative, wouldn't you want to create the best show possible? Wouldn't you not want to be lazy? How can these mamalukes be so uninspired by the product? If they just want to sit there and do fucking nothing. They basically will just do everything by the numbers, take as many shortcuts as they can to get to point A to point B. Most people, and you see it on the internet, this is like their dream job. They'd want to write for WWE. They'd want to come up with their own storylines. They'd want to get creative and do new and exciting things. And God forbid any of these marks here in the YWC ever get that job. I mean, I don't know, but the way how these guys are booking, I mean, they, according to what culture, you know, they like what's going on. A lot of this stuff is better than the Attitude Era to them. So I guess this is how it would be, you know. But I remember reading stuff on message boards years ago that was way better than this shit. So you've got Daniel Bryan making the save during the match. Aiden English runs in. You know, no sign of Naka Murphy, which would have made more sense. Shane McMahon is backstage with Paige. Paige imitates Teddy Long. This was pretty much a worthless segment, you know. Shane's interested in seeing who Paige has gotten for the night. They have all these video packages all ready to go, and somehow Shane doesn't know what's going to happen on the show. Insulting our intelligence. It's different if it was going to be a draft like they used to do, and they'd make these announcements, but tonight it was just random video packages, and people just popping out of nowhere. So these are the people running the show, and they don't even know who's going to be on it. I mean, either they're incompetent or they're making this show look as fake as fucking possible. Shelton Benjamin comes out to cut her promo. You know, oh, Shelton Benjamin, he's finally on his own. This is what I've been asking for months. Get him away from Gable. He doesn't need Gable. It's exactly what he said in the promo in a heelish way. So Shelton Benjamin, you know, this guy looked like he was about to be the next biggest star in 2004 and 2005. They kind of pulled back the reins a little bit on him when he, you know, schoolboy Triple H and got a win off of him during the Evolution days. But, you know, he won, you know, U.S. titles and Intercontinental titles. He had a feud with RVD. This guy, you know, he was an integral part of the Ruthless Aggression era. If people remember him from the World's Greatest Tag Team, working with Kurt Angle, this guy worked with Brock Lesnar. I mean, this is a guy that's well experienced. You know, his time in ECW, he was the gold standard. So this is a guy who definitely, he's a veteran. He knows what he's doing, and he could be a big part. I always talk about how you have these top-tier guys. I mean, if a guy like AJ Styles at that size and everything could be a world champion, why couldn't Shelton Benjamin? Now, granted, AJ, you know, like I said, this guy's special. AJ Styles is special. He's got a certain look to him. He does look like a star. But I'm saying if you're going to have Balor and Seth Rollins and all these other goofs winning world titles, multiple world titles, a guy like Shelton Benjamin definitely deserves his spot. He should never have been, you know, he looked pathetic in that tag division. You know, always like coming so close to winning the tag titles, but they can never get it done. It was starting to really get aggravating, and it looked pathetic after a while. So I thought, you know, okay, I'm watching this promo. Oh, but you know, of course we knew already. Jeff Hardy is there. He's going to win, just like they did to Jinder. You know, guys, where's the hate for Jeff? Because here we go again with, this is like the Cena mentality, right? That you always complain about. Jeff Hardy burying two guys right there that deserve to get good pushes, right? Jinder and Shelton Benjamin. Those are guys that deserve to have more than what they're currently getting. And here's Jeff Hardy to take that magic away. I'm fucking with you guys. I love Jeff Hardy, you know, if someone's going to get a win. But I'm just saying, it's like, why are they booking? You want to give Jeff momentum? Put him against somebody who doesn't fucking matter, right? I mean, come on. You know, you're better off burying Rusev even further, since that guy has no credibility left. I mean, why take away from a guy like Benjamin, you know, who at least this guy has potential? You could explain that it was Chad Gable holding him down. That's why he was losing all the time. He could come back and he could restore his former glory that he once had with the company. And you think back to, like, how well these guys were protected, like Shelton Benjamin. Even when he had his mama following him around. Remember, this guy was well protected. You know, they made him look like a pristine Intercontinental champ. Anyway, this was a very strange segment, too. Randy Orton comes out to answer the call. And the thing was, I liked this part about Shelton Benjamin, that they showed, like he said, he wanted stiff competition. And Randy Orton came out and he wasn't even like fazed by it. He was like shaking his head like, yeah, I want it. Instead of, you know, most of these heels, they would, you know, do the chicken shit routine, the eyes wide, all animated, being like, whoa, I didn't want somebody that tough, you know. So Orton comes out, then Jeff Hardy's music plays, so he's been drafted to SmackDown, which I think is a smart move, by the way. Get him away. If I ever have to watch another 6-man, 8-man, 10-man tag with this guy and Blueberry Fuckboy Balor or Seth Man Rollins, I will, you know, completely lose it. So thank God Jeff Hardy's away. This also gives him time to, you know, like I said, the tag thing is out of it. Matt's doing his own thing with Bray Wyatt. You know, we could have had something, you know, maybe even better with the Brother Nero thing. But, I mean, you know, I'm all for making Jeff a big single star. I had asked for this ever since the TNA days, so, you know, I'm happy he's there. But the thing, so he walks by Randy Orton, and Randy Orton just, like, looks at Jeff, and he just, like, lets him take his spot in the match. You know, Randy Orton being the Viper and all this shit, the Apex Predator, he just lets Jeff Hardy take his spot. So I thought that was bizarre. Like, they had him walk out there just to have Jeff take his spot. Like, I kind of didn't really understand what they were trying to do there. So in other words, they're trying to show that Jeff Hardy's an asshole. He's just taking people's spots in matches, whatever the case may be. Once again, there's no real explanation for it. Doesn't make any sense. Anyway, so Jeff Hardy goes on to beat Shelton Benjamin. This was a pretty good match. I enjoyed it, but, you know, the result I'm not exactly happy with. I would have liked to see Benjamin get a win over somebody here, you know, to really cement that he's a single star. The Miz cut a promo, you know, okay, I kind of get this, why he would do it from his cell phone, because he was at his house, so that wasn't as bad as, you know, when they're in the arena and they're doing the selfies with the phones, you know, the selfie videos, then I think that that's totally moronic. That's when they should have a fucking camera crew. I mean, how lazy have they gotten where they, or wouldn't the A-lister like The Miz have a camera crew at his house, actually? So maybe that wasn't the best pick. Maybe if it was a different wrestler. So I'm not really getting this here. So the Miz is not there. So they sold this whole thing on Raw. He's coming to SmackDown, wanting to punch Daniel Bryan in the. Daniel Bryan wanted to punch him in the mouth, and then he's not there. You waited months and months, and I get maybe they're trying to build tension here, but that's just bullshit. They keep doing stuff like, you said on Raw that he's going to be there on SmackDown. So follow up on this. They built this up for 2 years. The Miz has been stealing his kicks. They've mentioned it frequently on commentary. Now, the opportunity that they get, and look what they were doing with Daniel Bryan on this show. Really nothing worth a damn. And you're going to see like what they did with him. So it kind of doesn't even really make sense if they're going to lead up to something with the Miz. Harper defeated one of the Uso brothers. Naomi came out to make the save. And once again, just another very poorly written segment here. And I'll explain why. So they beat up both Uso brothers. Harper and Rowan do. So Naomi runs out and she's screaming, no, 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 and, and everything. And then, Harper puts his hand on Rowan's chest as to show, don't go after them. And, okay, so these guys are supposed to be barbaric. And, we saw on WrestleMania and stuff that there are certain ways where the men are allowed to touch the girls, without getting super physical like them. Like, they're allowed to, like, pull them and stuff, I guess. Or at least Triple H is allowed to do that. Whatever the case may be. Why? But just, if you're trying to sell these guys as being barbarians, they're ruthless, they don't know when enough is enough, they're power bombing guys on steps. Why would they stop just because Naomi told them to? At least have like somebody attack them from behind or something to excuse why they wouldn't just finish off the Uso brother, whoever it is, Jimmy or Jay. I think it's Jay that's married to Naomi. Why would they stop? I mean, wouldn't they have just thrown Naomi out of the way and just finished attacking him? It hurts the character. It just shows, these guys have a soft spot. No, I'm sorry. If you're trying to sell these guys a certain way, that they are ruthless, they wouldn't have any mercy in their bones. They would have finished the job. Samoa Joe has been drafted to SmackDown. He defeats Sin Cara. And then he cuts another dry promo. I'm sure Wade Keller says it's a genius promo, I bet, right? This is a great promo, obviously. It's not this. I mean, guys, let's be perfectly honest about this fat buffoon already. Not only has this motherfucker been wearing the same outfit since 2002, he's been cutting the same exact promo. At least he says he's not saying that he's going to kill anybody. Which he used to say in his promos, which sounds damn foolish in a wrestling promo. The only thing that's changed about this guy is that he stopped dyeing his hair blonde, which he used to do. I mean, the guy used to be in shape for at least a little bit, maybe for a couple of months during his indie time, but he came to TNA, he's still been fat. I mean, the guy looks terrible nowadays. I mean, you look at him right now, and he's even fatter and more out of shape than he was in TNA. And to King of Kings, I already commented and responded to you with my Raw review. I never said that Roman Reigns cut a good promo on Raw. I just said that it was clever of them to at least point out the fact that Samoa Joe is indeed fat, that he's not in shape. It was a good insult. I never said it was a good promo. I was drawing the attention to the fact that Wade Keller was hating on Reigns in that segment on Raw, saying that he was cutting a bad promo. when, I'm not saying it was a good or bad promo, but he was praising Samoa Joe for coming out and saving the segment. If anything, he made it worse. I don't get how you have that double standard where you can basically just sit there and say, oh, well, this guy's, he's cutting a bad promo. Then the guy comes out, it's like Samoa Joe, who's been cutting the same style of promo for over a decade. He cuts that promo, and you're saying it's brilliant. There's nothing that Samoa Joe said there that was brilliant. It was cookie cutter. It was mundane. It was, below average. It was subpar. It wasn't good. All right? I mean, Keller has some type of, fat fetish for Samoa Joe, I guess. I guess he likes his oversized Samoan nipples. I don't know what it is. He likes to eat pineapples and coconuts while he's watching Samoa Joe. I don't know what the guy's all about. I don't know what Keller's got going on in that mind of his, but, he likes Samoa Joe a lot. He likes Balor a lot. I don't know what this guy's deal is. It's a little bit weird. It's a bit creepy. But he's just going to praise whoever he likes, basically. He's never going to be fair. He's never going to say that, Samoa Joe needs to freshen up his act, because according to him, everything Samoa Joe does is pure gold. So that's all I was trying to say there. I wasn't saying that Roman Reigns was cutting an earth-shattering promo that was changing the very fabric of the way promos are cut in WWE. I was just saying that Samoa Joe, was doing just as bad as Reigns. I was just saying that Reigns was a bit more clever there. No, you're not saying that it was a great promo. Backstage, you had Daniel Bryan cutting a promo about why he saved AJ. Big CASS comes out of nowhere, which is a bit of an odd way for him to make his return, just popping out of, off camera. He says, so you're what all the fuss is about. And, it was funny. He tried to show, like, how much taller he is than Bryan. But, later on we would see him anyway, and it would have been better off if they held off until the match. Carmella had her, celebration. And right here, this is what's so funny. The Smarks hate Carmella. They've been hating on her since Money in the Bank. Again, when it was in NXT, anything that happens within the walls of NXT is great. It's, $1 million idea. It's peachy keen. It's, it's A+. It's, 100%. It's, amazing shit, basically. Anything that Triple H craps out in the NXT world, at Full Sail, it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Nothing could be better. So, this is back on a time when Enzo was great, Big CASS was great, Carmella was great. When they were a team in NXT, they were wonderful. All of a sudden, they get to WWE. Oh, Enzo can't wrestle. Oh, Carmella's not as good as the other women. So you guys love NXT so much. You're always talking about how, WWE's main show should be exactly like NXT. And, this is the thing. Once these guys get there, everyone's super hypocritical. The same fans then say they make like some type of lame excuse. Oh, they're not the same or some shit like that. So, okay, so Enzo, you criticized him for his wrestling skills. When he won the Cruiserweight Championship, everybody on the internet, in the YWC, rioted. You made 1,000 videos and Twitter posts about how Enzo was shitty. You loved it when Enzo got arrested for supposedly raping somebody, and, you celebrated like the goofballs you are. You all acted like a bunch of little Ryan Saddens, and, all celebrating the demise of Enzo's WWE career. A bunch of sickos, a bunch of horrible, disgusting people, right? So, you get all behind these NXT stars, but they come to the main roster and whatever, you just start hating on them for whatever reason. I don't know what it is. I guess maybe it's, because you're such a mark, you kind of view it as them turning their back on NXT. Whatever the case may be, Carmella was loved in NXT. They gave her some time to stay in NXT. They didn't bring her up right away with Enzo and CASS. Then they finally brought her up, and then everybody started hating on her. They gave her the Money in the Bank, not because she's the best wrestler, but because she has a charisma to her. And it was shown right here. You saw how she took that mic, and she, you could tell that they might have given her some, guidelines here, some talking points, but this was mostly her. She cut a really good promo. She put pizzazz into it. So even if it was scripted, she definitely delivered it in a way where it didn't seem like it. Then you've got these two, Peyton Royce and Billie Kay. And I believe it's Peyton Royce, the one with the short hair. She does this this whole... first Charlotte came out, and she's cutting a promo against Carmella. Okay, so then Peyton Royce and Billie Kay come out. And then they're doing this routine with the wham, wham, wham. They're like trying to call Charlotte a baby. And this is an example of something that seems scripted, that's delivered in a way that sounds scripted. There is like a way that wrestlers make their voice where they make something sound so totally scripted, where they kind of emphasize certain words. See, Carmella was emphasizing her words, but doing it in a way where it's, it worked for her character. Here you have these two goofballs, and the majority of the promo was cut by Peyton Royce. And Peyton is like, doing this thing where it's hard to describe, but if you put those promos side by side and you're not a giant mark, you can clearly see the way how she's cutting that promo was very amateurish. And they bring these two girls up. Everybody's going gaga for them. It's only a matter of time before, all these NXT fanboys turn against them too and come up with some type of excuse. But basically what I was trying to say here is you could clearly see with all the complaints against Carmella why they decided to give her the Money in the Bank and all that. Too bad they were jobbing her out for months and months and they completely forgot that she was even there half the time. Ever since they let go of Ellsworth, I mean, it was like they completely forgot she existed even. Funny that Charlotte actually mentioned Ellsworth in her promo by calling him a chinless freak. They didn't actually say his whole name, but, then we had the match, so the debut of Billie Kay. We've all waited for this. No, we haven't. And she, Charlotte makes her tap out. So, there you go. There's the big debut, right, of the new stars already jobbing out. A great job there anyway. So, they attack Charlotte. Becky Lynch comes out, to make the save. Becky Lynch was there before. Anyway, so there's like a big brawl, and then, Carmella. The thing is why I'm getting so confused here is don't you guys notice something? Whenever they do the women, it can never just be two women. It's got to be everybody. That's why I'm so confused about if Becky Lynch was there. No, Becky Lynch came out before Billie Kay and Peyton Royce tried to attack Charlotte. There's like fucking 6, 7 women out there. They can never have just a one-on-one. It's always got to be a tag match, a 6-man tag, or there's another woman waiting outside. Right? It's like, you've got Absolution, you've got the Riot Squad. It's all tag team matches. It's all factions. Can any of these girls be by themselves? Could they ever have a one-on-one promo? Like, couldn't it just be Charlotte and Carmella? Why did it have to be Peyton Royce and Billie Kay coming out there? And you're going to call this team, you know, I know it's just the name, but you're going to call them the Iconics? Really? Like, there's nothing iconic about this duo, which they were called back in NXT, the Iconic Duos. Like, you're going to call them iconic. Really. Like I said, there's nothing iconic about these girls. These two girls are about as green as you could get. They have, I don't know what it is, why you give the mic to the greenest of the green. If there's hands that shouldn't hold the microphone, it is definitely Peyton Royce right over there. That girl should not be cutting promos. The same thing with Ruby Riott. Do not have her cut promos. She doesn't know how to cut them. So why are you giving her the belt? I mean, why are you giving her the mic? God forbid the belt, but giving her the mic, but she can't even use it properly. You know, that is a make or break thing. I mean, if you want to put these greenies out there, go ahead and do it. But, you know, stop overexposing them. I mean, like, why are you purposely hurting your own talent? I know why they're doing it, because you see the reaction. People don't care. It's just a service, you know, just cutting a promo to cut a promo. Oh, look, they could go out there and they could talk, you know, without it being a major disaster. Well, I'm sorry. It's still a disaster. It's just because the standards are so low now that these marks are used to, you know, the typical crappy indie promos. You know, but I will say this, even like in Ring of Honor, there were better promos. There really was, because they didn't have such a heavy script to go by. Now you're giving green wrestlers scripts that they gotta, you know, memorize word for word, so it's gonna be even worse. So, you know, you just got a double-edged sword here. You've got green wrestlers that don't even know how to cut promos, and then you're telling them to stick to a script that they gotta remember word for word. And then Asuka got involved at the end. This is what I'm saying. There's so many girls involved in this segment. I mean, it's blowing my mind here. Carmella, the Iconics, then Asuka comes out at the end to make this. I mean, holy shit! It's too many. I mean, every single time he showed a girl, so now Asuka's on SmackDown. You know, they couldn't be bothered to show Asuka prior to Mania on SmackDown, even though she challenged their champion. But here she is, you know, a month late. The Bar cut a promo here backstage. It was one of those. This was super fucking cheesy. Holy shit. I mean, they cut this promo, and like I said, it's like like WWE just found out. Like Kevin Dunn, you know, just sat down one day on his phone. He's like, "Hey, you know, Vince, they got this nifty thing here." Oh yeah, what is it? It's called Snapchat. What the chop snap? No Snapchat. And you've got these filters here. I was thinking that maybe, just maybe we could just, you know, somehow put these filters into the promos. You know, but we're going to have to obviously, you know, pre-tape them. We can't do that in real time. Go for it, Kevin, go. I mean, and then you got these promos here like the one that the Bar cut. And they're showing, we won 4 tag titles, and then they showed the belt 4 times. And then every time they say a word, it pops up on the screen. Oh my God, how, I mean, they've been doing this for months, but once they showed those little tag belt icons, like those little tag belt emojis, I was like, they think that they're cool. They think that Corey Graves, even with platinum blonde hair at WrestleMania, is cool. I mean, I don't know. This has got to be the lamest fucking company I've ever seen in my life. I mean, how did they have how could they have been cooler in 1998? And in 2018, it's like, and they have the network where they could go back, and they encourage people to go back and watch their old shows. They like totally forget about the past. I mean, like, Michael Cole is sitting there, and this motherfucker's been there since 1997. He doesn't sit out there and think to himself, holy fucking shit, this product has got fucking lame over the years. Remember when we were hip? Remember when we had Cindy Margolis in the fucking audience? Remember when we have all the big A-lister celebrities, you know, asking us to appear on our show? We didn't even have to outreach to them. They actually came to us. You know, does he ever think that, man, oh man, this shit's so fucking lame today? I mean, doesn't he ever tell Vince? Doesn't he ever tell anybody, you know, any of the higher-ups that, man, you know, I was just kind of noticing, are these people that scared for their jobs that they don't want to offer any criticism? And to a point, I blame them. Criticism is not a very welcome thing in WWE. We've clearly seen, look at Rusev, where calling The Undertaker just 2 fucking words, an old man could get you pulled from a fucking major show right off the card. I mean, you know, I don't know what to tell you, but R-Truth was backstage, so, you know, we finally remembered that this guy existed. You know, like, I always talk about this about R-Truth. This is a guy that wrestled at Survivor Series against The Rock, you know, 6.5 years ago, roughly, I suppose it was. Whatever the case may be, 7 years ago, I don't know. But anyway, remember the Awesome Truth? Remember when they were pushing this guy to the moon? He had a world title match on a pay-per-view with John Cena. So, you know, he's backstage, and the New Day finds him, and, you know, they're welcoming him. Then he does this kind of face-to-face with Ty Dillinger, and I don't even know what that was all about. Then, you know, they celebrate together. You know, they make the joke that R-Truth thinks that he's on Raw, but he's on, they tell him SmackDown's on Tuesday. He says, I'll see you tomorrow, walks away. I mean, I don't know. This has kind of run its course a long time ago with the R-Truth thing. You know, I don't know. You know, you guys hired this guy. You know, he's talented. We've seen it. The guy knows how to talk, but you don't want to use him in a serious manner. Not even in a serious manner. You don't even want to use him. He just reappears here on SmackDown. So, I mean, do we really need another goofball on SmackDown when we've already got the New Day stinking the joint up? They did another video package. It was Eric Young with Sanity. You know, some other guys are there. All I care about seeing Eric Young, really. I mean, I don't care about these other guys, whatever the case may be. You know, but Eric Young will bring a sense of charisma to this show. You know, I liked Eric Young since his TNA days. You know, so seeing him on SmackDown would be good. Then we had another video package for another wrestler. That guy that I always have a problem pronouncing his name, Andrade Cien Almas. I probably said the first name wrong. Like he said, I don't watch NXT, so I'm not used to saying his name anyway. So, you know, he's got that girl Vega with her. You know, he's coming to sell. Okay, great. Then in the main event, it was Daniel, Bryan, and AJ, and they're having a match with Rusev and Aiden English. Naka Murphy comes out to attack AJ. Then Big CASS comes out again and gives the big boot to Daniel Bryan. And he would have been better off just showing up, you know, right here in the match. I mean, what was the point of even showing him earlier backstage for 2 seconds? You know, and there you go. That's your show. So it's over. So, you know, I don't know. This felt like a mishmash. Me talking about it sounds like there was a lot that happened on this show, but it really wasn't. They screwed up a chance to make another star out of Shelton Benjamin. Too many weird decisions here. Too many girls. What was the best part of this show? I like the Jeff Hardy Shelton Benjamin match. That was a well worked match. That's an example of how you could have that's a match that you could tell that's safe, that between two veterans that really know what they're doing. There was nothing super dangerous in that match. Two guys that really know they know their stuff. It's not those indie, the fuckboy ballers, and these are guys that really haven't injured anybody, is what I'm trying to say. So it was great to see those guys in that. Carmella's promo before Peyton Royce and Billy Kay came out, that was good. So, the celebration part for Carmella was good. I mean, and that was probably about it for the positives. The negatives are way too many girls in that fucking segment. That fucking, like I'm saying, even trying to review it, I couldn't even fucking remember without writing it all down. Who came out? You had Becky Lynch coming out. You had Charlotte coming out. You had the Iconics coming out. Then Asuka coming out. I mean, like, all these girls, and I know it's supposed to, look how big our roster is, but it's almost like, look how fucking much of a clusterfuck this is. How many girls are just popping up. Instead of just having just Charlotte there with Carmella, two pros that could have just carried the segment fine, you had to throw all those other fucking girls out there. Then, you had Big Cass returning, and I'm a fan of Big Cass. But, I know it was very random seeing him backstage in that segment. They were better off just making it a surprise, him coming out of nowhere with the big boot. And then they could have just revealed next week why he did it to Daniel Bryan. Nakamura, at the end, he does the same line. Renee Young comes out, asks him, to explain himself, and again he just says, no speak English. So it was funny last week, but he's cutting the same, saying the same thing that he said last week. I've said this. They go back to the well once too many times. He said it once, it was funny, I put it over. He's going back to say it again. Sorry, but, you just said that last week. Anyways, so, there's SmackDown for you. That's your SmackDown Superstar shakeup. All it was a bunch of fucking video packages. You could have made it exciting, and you could have shown all these people at once. It might have felt a bit crowded, but there would have been nothing wrong with Eric Young appearing, doing something backstage at least, making a big splash, attacking somebody, whatever the case may be. The show needed to be livened up a little bit. The segments were going very long. That thing with the women went on forever, because, like I said, they just kept on bringing out different girls at the end. It felt very crowded, to say the fucking least. So there you go, guys. There's your SmackDown review. Superstar shakeup. It's funny. It's like almost everybody went over to Raw. SmackDown kind of really got the short end of the stick, I think. I think that Raw took a lot of the really good stars. And I think that's, once again, and this is why it's stupid. Just end the fucking draft. It's dumb. We have to worry about, 19 stars went to Raw, 14 went to SmackDown. This is bullshit. Everyone's saying. I'm like, see, this is why. The type of stuff does not work. You don't need a draft. It's stupid. If you're scared about being somebody getting buried, then you just need to book smarter. And I'm sorry, but not everybody can be a star. Then start getting rid of your Finn Balor's and your Seth Rollins, and start going back to the way you used to do business, with just making the people that look like stars actual stars. There's no reason to, give all these people all these different opportunities. Everybody under the sun has got to get a title shot. Everybody's got to be a champion. Everybody's got to get a participation. Enough with that bullshit. Just, give the right people their spots who deserve it, and just basically fuck everybody else like I said, it shows getting all the women out there in the segment, fucking 10 different girls so they could all get FaceTime. It's excessive. That is boring. That is uncreative as shit. Like I said, if you all have to stick them all in the same segment, it shows that you don't know how to write for this company. No, this whole fucking this week was a disaster, to say the least. They shifted everybody around. They had opportunities to make new stars with Benjamin and Jinder, and they fucked that all up. There you, like I said, I said it at Mania, guys. Do you guys really expect anything more from this company? This is a company that's let you down time and time again. Always saying, oh, well, this could be good. Oh, if they did this, it'll end up... It's never going to be good. Okay? You know, they shift people around. It's only a matter of time before they start jobbing out Jeff Hardy, for example. They don't protect anybody. They even job out Randy Orton, for God's sakes. It doesn't matter to them who wins or loses, who looks good, who looks bad. At the end of the day, they don't give a fuck. The product is a bust, and they're not improving anytime soon. So you could try to fantasy book. You could do what Wade Keller does and what Culture does, and you could pretend like everything is great with the product. Or you could be realistic like me and just realize that no matter what they do, it's going to just all suck at the end of the day anyway. Oh, here you go, motherfuckers. This has been your YWC champ. And I'm signing out.